since you were last here.
Good morning. Welcome to What Have I Just Read with Michael, Malcolm,
And the jingle.
and it is nice to be back. Very nice to be back.
It's so lovely to have you back, Malcolm. You cannot imagine. I love your prayers. I miss them a lot. One of the ultimate prayer makers.
Oh no! Today was all over the place. But anyway.
So here we are reading Leviticus. So it's Holy Week, Monday, Thursday. And a very interesting reading about how to properly make sacrifices.
Yes, that's right.
Now before this, I just had a sneak peek. Literally the verse before this, we learn that Aaron has just lost his 2 sons. Is that right? For incorrectly preparing or doing something not quite right.
I'm going to have to confess and say I will take your word for it.
Okay, right, okay. Well,
it sounds right, but yes.
It's Aaron's 2 sons have just done something. They've tried to do a sacrifice in the temple and have done it all wrong and were struck down. So this is kind of take 2, as it were, but God instructing Aaron how to do it properly. Which is interesting. I didn't know whether I wasn't clear whether the 2 sons had done it out of malice or just ignorance. But anyway, interesting.
We'll have to look at that at some other time, yes.
But then we learn how it's quite clear, it's very specific, isn't it?
It is very. The whole instructions. The whole of Leviticus. Certainly, clearly up to that point, has been really about a set of instructions about the temple, about the tabernacle.
Leviticus is kind of the law book, is that right?
It is, and it's the book of the priests.
The book
okay. So it's the priest's manual about what to do.
I like that. And it's very interesting, and there's the whole thing with the 2 goats. One lives, and the other is
sent off for Azazel.
Is that the original?
Azazel.
It's like the scapegoat.
Yes, exactly.
The origin of the scapegoat.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
The one that escapes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't there a very famous Russian novel called Azaz?
Oh, I have to take your word on that now.
No, I've got that one. Anyway, no.
Probably. I'm now intrigued.
Yes, yeah.
But also, I just thought it was really interesting. I don't think there's any connection here, but this is Holy Week. We're working up to the crucifixion of Jesus, who spills his blood for our sins, and yet this reading is all about the kind of the Old Testament way of making atonement for your misdeeds and sins through the sacrifice of animals. And it just seems to me there's almost a
it is deliberately chosen.
Yeah,
it's deliberately chosen today.
It's sort of a synonym.
This week the readings are not. They don't necessarily. The New Testament readings follow on. The Old Testament readings don't. They're more linked to the events. But you're absolutely right. It's about the shedding of blood. It's about the scapegoat. I remember somebody at college, one of our teachers, saying. It was very, very bloody, he said. Really, he said, one day we said, as part of your course, we should do one of these sacrifices in the middle of our college courtyard.
Wow.
And then you would see what it was like.
That's actually a very interesting idea.
But the good news for the animals is that after the sacrifice of Jesus, we don't need to make these because he made the once and for all sacrifice. He sacrificed for himself, and then he sacrificed for his people. We were reading about that in Hebrews, and it is the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. He was the scapegoat as well, the one who took all our sins onto him, and then he was taken out of the city. That's quite important, that symbolism, where he was crucified out of the city, outside the city.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we go on to.
And then we go, which I have to say, Mike, I thought you read brilliantly.
It's a real piece of storytelling, isn't it? Because
it's fantastic.
You get people that there are conversations, which is always nice to read. Because it's a bit more personal than having reported dialogue.
Yeah. Thing that struck me this time reading it through is always different things strike you, but it's the friendship between Herod and Pilate.
Amazing! I was about to say, funny, one reads things and something new pops out, and that did pop out for me. That was so bizarre. That same day, Herod and Pilate became friends with each other. Before this, they'd been enemies. And I thought, how bizarre that it was Jesus that sort of brought them together.
Opposition to Jesus. Well, no, actually it wasn't opposition.
Because they were both kind of on the same side.
They both thought, well, he's innocent, but
Right.
there's nothing against him. So in one sense, they were both on the same side.
But
yeah.
neither of them stuck up for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
They bounced Jesus off each other, hoping that maybe the other, might find him guilty. But neither of them done. So they just like, well, we'll wash our hands of this.
They were partners in compromise.
Yeah, partners. That's a great term. And it is. And another thing that jumped out for me is that they. He keeps on saying, Pilate keeps on saying, come on, look, this guy's free, we'll just flog him and let him go. But then they urgently kept demanding with loud shouts that he should be crucified, and their voices prevailed. And I thought it's so interesting, the idea of voices prevailing in the sort of the shout and noisiness of people screaming for things, and somehow the truth gets lost, and Pilate sort of compromised and just thought, well, whatever.
Yeah, just thought
I'm just done with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. They released the one who had been put in prison for insurrection and murder, and he handed Jesus over as they wished for insurrection, rebellion, and murder. Which actually go right back to the Garden of Eden. It was rebellion. And then the murder of Abel.
Right.
So, there's no link there, but it's just
that's interesting.
going right back to the beginning.
Yeah. But it's a great story, isn't it?
Yeah. Lovely. Well, lovely to be with you, and I hope to be with you tomorrow.
Yes.
Bless you. Good Friday.
Right.
Bless you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.